Welcome back to the Rise Leadership Circle podcast. My name is Lisa Limata. Thank you so much for being here. So today I want to pick up on a conversation that we started a couple of episodes back. So Kayla shared the last 2 episodes here on the podcast, and I did the one just previous to that. The title of it was Courageous Confidence. So if you haven't listened to it yet, I highly recommend go and take a listen because I want to build on that today. So we talked in that podcast about focusing on what is true for us individually instead of what's right, and how that's the place where that courageous confidence comes in, because it requires a lot of confidence to trust our own inner wisdom and our own inner guidance. And it's particularly hard when it goes against what other people think you should do, what society thinks you should do, what institutions think you should do. But there is a real secret sauce to living your life this way. So this podcast is a good example of how we truly live into this concept. When Kayla and I started this podcast several months back, we weren't exactly sure what we wanted it to be. And so we have a motto that is start before you're ready. Start before you're ready, because it truly is the way that you will get the best learning and the most learning. What we knew for sure, and what still stands true, is that we wanted to have a way that we could show up and interact with you every single week, and we could give you tangible strategies, and we could have conversation with you that would help you create traction in your life, that would help you have expansion in your life. And these things would be implementable, easy for me to say, that you could jump into and see a result in your life just from listening in. And that is still our mission here. I think we've played a bit with is this a YouTube channel? With YouTube, it feels a bit more to me like we are teaching and, coming in, teaching a concept, very to the point, a bit more like a show. Or with a podcast, I feel that we can be more conversational. I feel like I can share more stories in real time about what's happening in my life. And that is the style that I am gravitating towards, that is really resonating for me. So, what the experts would say is that before you launch a podcast, you should have all of the branding, you should have the title, you should have the intro, the outro, like all the things that you're supposed to do. And that's probably right, but it wasn't true for us. Because we knew that in order to really know what we even wanted, we had to give it a try first. And so this is a concept that we have used over and over and over again in our business. And I'm sure this would go in the face of what many experts would tell you. I am clearly not an expert in podcasting. However, I trust myself and I trust the guidance that I receive. And, for us, we've made millions of dollars in our business in the last 4 years simply by trusting what was true for us. And so we'll continue to do that, even if it's not, the correct way. So you may notice my voice is a little bit scratchy here today. We just got back from Seattle last week. We were there for a team photo shoot and a meeting. And while I was there, I ended up coming down with a fever, chills. Of course, it was the night before our photo shoot. And so that brought a little bit of an interesting edge to the trip itself. But I'm feeling great now, just have a little bit of a scratchy voice. So thank you for bearing with me. And if this is your first time here, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us. Our mission here at Rise is to really expand you into owning new levels of your value, your power, your worth, because what we want for you is that you get to become well paid and have a prosperous life. It is so much more than just about the money. That's a piece of it. And of course, we desire to have wealth that we can create the things that we want to have with. But it really is about having a beautiful, meaningful life. And I think that is your best strategy, whether you are growing a business, leading a company, leading your family, whatever it is. Your life is always going to inform you about what's right and what's true for you. So, my healing journey has recently changed a little bit. When I say healing journey, let me just preface this a little bit. I think I shared this a few episodes, probably in one of the first episodes, but many years ago, in my former world, I had a business. I grew it to 7 figures. In the second year, we expanded and grew really, really rapidly. And at that point in time in my life, all I knew was hustle. All I knew was hard work, burning the candle at both ends. And I didn't question it because I thought that was the right way to do business. And it wasn't true for me, because at the end of that experience, I ended up with severe burnout, chronic fatigue, a lot of health issues. And this was back, I sold the business in 2015. And I really started to hit bottom with my health, once I sold the business and had gone through a long period of stress in my life. So it created that chronic stress in my life, created some chronic adrenal issues. And I've been on this journey for many years. So really actively working at it since 2017. And it has been really incredible and life-changing. But what I've been noticing recently is I recently had a flare-up of some fatigue, some adrenal issues come up again. And I realized that some of what I've been doing to stay healthy, to stay on this healing journey, isn't necessarily giving me the results that I want to have. And so it required me to listen within about what was true for me and to listen in a bit deeper about what I want to create in my life. And so I want to share just a few things that I have been doing recently, because maybe this will make a difference for you. But I had a real blind spot around lifestyle, I guess. In my mind, I feel like I live a really healthy lifestyle, and probably by most society standards, I do. I live a really healthy life. I eat mostly organically, mostly whole foods. I do a lot of fresh home cooking. And what I was noticing, though, for me is that I was relying on that, and I was relying on supplements and nothing else. So whenever I would have a flare up of some of the stuff that I was experiencing over the last couple of months, it's like I would just double down on supplements or double down on what I was consuming. And it wasn't necessarily enough. It wasn't creating the change I wanted to create. So I had to look a little bit deeper and say, what else might be true for me? If it's not just the food I'm consuming, I need to look at my entire life. Because what I've really come to understand is that our body is so incredibly loving. It's so incredibly for us, and it has the ability to heal itself. Our bodies are always healing. And so it is always, no matter what we might put it through, it's always healing. So if we're experiencing symptoms of any kind, whether that symptom is a fever or whether that symptom is, problems with our stomach, or the symptom is we're not sleeping well, that is a sign that our body is healing. All symptoms are signs of healing. And so often we look at the body as if it's wrong, or we think like something has gone wrong in our body and, we need to fix that symptom. But what I have come to understand and what I've come to learn is actually my body knows exactly what to do. My job is to give it the conditions to thrive, the conditions to do what it already knows how to do. Think about it. If you, get a cut on your arm, you don't have to really do anything other than maybe make sure it stays clean so you don't get an infection. Your body will heal that cut, and it will heal it so beautifully without you having to do anything. And the same is true no matter what we have going on. So I started to just really look at, okay, what else is happening in my life? Where else am I having things happening that maybe aren't serving me to live my life in the best way that I want to live it? And something that was really clear for me is feeling out of balance with how much blue light, electronic light that I'm taking in versus how much actual natural sunlight I'm getting in a day. I run an online business. And so, of course, a lot of my day, I am on my phone, I am on my computer. I have artificial lighting like the one in front of me right now as I'm creating this video and this podcast. And we don't even know exactly the impact that having so much exposure to all of this artificial light is having on our bodies. But it got me really curious, and I've been following somebody for a while. Her name is Dr. Cassie Huckabee, and I highly recommend you give her a follow on Instagram if this is something that resonates for you. But I've been following her for quite a while and finally ended up purchasing one of her master classes and learned a lot about how we can actually balance with natural sunlight. So I've made some changes when it comes to that, specifically making sure that I'm getting unfiltered sunlight morning, midday, and evening. And I've been really consistent with it. So what I would call like gentle consistency, and making sure that I am getting natural, unfiltered light on my skin. And so this is controversial. I'm not going to go into the details of how, because for each individual, how you do this is going to be completely different. And again, this is not about what's right. This is about what was true for me, but it is a place to look if you're curious about this for yourself. I mean, certainly if you want to know more, you can message me and we can talk a little bit more about that. But making sure that we're getting that unfiltered natural light, because it's very healing for our bodies. Everything on the planet needs light in order to grow. All of plant life, all of animal life, us humans included. And so what I've noticed just since even just taking on these little changes, so what I've been doing is getting a morning walk first thing in the morning. And sometimes I'll take my coffee with me and it's just like a beautiful walk and it's slow and gentle. Other times I'm like up and ready to go and it's a power walk and I'm really, connecting with the sun. I live next to some wetlands, so I've been catching the sunrise every single morning, which has just been magical and so beautiful for all kinds of reasons. And then midday, making sure I'm getting at least a few minutes of some natural light, that I'm taking a break, that I'm getting some sun. And then at the end of the night, ending my evening with a walk. A lot of times my husband and I are doing this together and just connecting on the day. And this has been such a gift for us too, to have this time just to connect and to talk about what's going on. And, I have the benefit of living in the woods. So I'm surrounded by a lot of natural beauty, and we have a deer and some babies living in our yard right now, but it's been very soul fulfilling. So the point of all of this is just to say that, I'm not looking at just the food, but I'm looking at, can I reduce the impact of how much artificial light I'm getting, and be intentional about just taking those few moments every single day to step outside. The other piece of it is moving in a new way that feels really true for me. And again, bringing in that gentle consistency, because the more I move, the better I feel. And I want to be strong and I want to be healthy and I want to be fit. And, for me personally, anything that's like super intense workouts is not right for a person who's got some adrenal stuff going on. But actually being able to, build slowly. So yoga, walking are all the things that really resonate for me. And what this has opened up for me has been so much clarity. I feel like a new sense of clarity in the way that I'm thinking. I healed from being sick in Seattle, coming down with the fever chills in Seattle. Like, I healed so quickly from that. My body was able to just kind of like, okay, like we're just going to, get rid of that. A couple of days of rough symptoms and then it was gone. And then my energy has felt really different. My skin looks different. My skin is completely clear. And the other thing I've been doing is just really eating intuitively. So I don't know if I shared this previously on the podcast here, but I'm going to be 53 this year, and I'm super proud of that. I don't have any, well, that's not true. I shouldn't say like I don't have any feelings about it. I have worked through a lot of feelings about aging and how I want to age and what I want that to look like and how I want that to feel. And so for me, something I realized was, as I was starting to sort of go through this little bit of a flare up again with my health, that what came along with that was not feeling completely good in my skin. And you hear people all the time tell you that, oh, as you get older, your hormones shift and it's much harder to lose weight. And I had bought into everything the media told me about the fact that it was going to be hard to lose weight. So I've been holding this belief that, oh, at this age, it's going to be much harder for me to, and it's not even about losing weight. I don't know that those are really the right words, but like for me, it's been about feeling good in my skin and just noticing the shifts in my body that I was like, I'm not really sure, but I had completely bought into this is going to be hard. You have to follow this step by step. I noticed myself looking for the right way. Like, what is the right way that I should be eating now? What are the right foods I should be consuming? And I finally just made a decision a while back to let that all go and to just really tune in and begin to trust my body, to be intuitive with what I wanted to eat. And so some of the things that my body has been And for me, it's a very clear yes or no. If you haven't really tuned into your body or tuned into body wisdom, it can take a little bit to start understanding your body signals. But I've been doing this for a while, and right now it is a really clear yes or a no. If I'm considering a food that I want to eat, let's just say, for example, I'll give you an example. Kayla and I were in the airport on our way to Seattle, and we got salads for lunch. We got to the airport early. We had enough time to eat. So I ordered a salad. I had steak on top of the salad, and it came in a to-go container. I took it off and I was like, oh, I'm a clear no. Like my body was like a no for the steak. I was like, okay, that's a clear no. I'm just going to take that aside. And I don't know why, but my body was a no. I'm kind of feeling like I was already starting to come down with something, but just didn't really realize it. And that's usually how it is. It's a yes or a no. It's a yes, I really want this and this feels really good. Or it's a don't eat that. And so noticing that I've been having all these digestive problems, and I know a lot of you out there have probably been told that you have leaky gut or you've got some gut issues. So notice, like, if your body is not wanting to digest, why? What's happening that it's not wanting to digest? What are you consuming that your body's not wanting? And if we can take it a step further and be like, it will give me a yes or a no, I can trust it. So that's another thing that's been really opening up for me has been, the more that I have just began to trust what's true for me and unhook from what the experts say and unhook from the step-by-step, the results that I'm looking for are happening in real time. And so here's the thing. This is true in what we're talking about, health and wellness right now, which I think, if you don't have health and wellness, then you can build the business of your dreams. You can have all the wealth that you want to have, but how are you going to enjoy it if you're not feeling your best? I think it is like a foundational piece. So this is some of the work I do with all of my one-on-one clients is we always want to make sure that our health and wellness, our self-care is got to be at the top of the priority list. And the thing is, we can tune into any expert any day for a how-to. Even me, I can tell you what I'm doing, but what I'm doing is not necessarily right for you. I will never tell you, you should do this or you must do this. What I would say is ask your body, what would feel right for you? And instead of just operating on autopilot, where it's like, well, this is what the experts say, this is the plan that always has worked for me in the past, this is the diet or this is the exercise plan I'm following, step back, because sometimes these can be our blind spots. The things that we think are right are very often the blind spot that's keeping us stuck. And it's tricky because it feels, we can look around and we can see someone else who's using this same strategy and getting a result. Or we can read a book and the book promises us or guarantees we're going to get a certain result. And so we bypass our own intuition or we bypass tuning in to jump into whatever it is that someone else is telling us is right for us. So instead, what I'm inviting you to do, whether we are talking about health or your relationships or your spirituality or your business, is to become aware, start to just question everything. And when I say everything, I mean question your thoughts, question your beliefs, question your routines and the things that you're doing. Like, why am I doing this? Does this actually feel good for me? Does this actually resonate for me? And if not, then what does feel right for you instead? So let me know how this lands for you. And, if you're someone who's been feeling like, yeah, I've been doing all the right things, but I'm not getting the result, it's likely there is a blind spot disguised as the right way. So let me know what comes through for you. I have something brand new for you guys that I'm really excited to share with you today. And it's designed to help you take on this work. So at the core of all of this is really about everything that we've been talking about here on the podcast, which is when you change your thoughts, you change what you believe. And when you change what you believe, your identity shifts. So whenever we have a goal, we have a result, we have an experience that we want to create in our life, we need to actually have an identity shift that we become the person who receives that, who creates that, who attracts that. And this always has to be the foundational starting place of anything that we want to create in our life. So we created something for you. It's brand new. It's called the Belief Portal. So the Belief Portal is all about rewiring those beliefs. We're going to teach you something in here that's called the belief scale. And we go through 5 different levels of belief to see where you're at. So imagine this. You're going to think about what's just one goal that you have, one result that you want to have in your life right now. Go ahead and bring it to mind. And then I want you to tell me, what's your level of belief? How much do you believe that that is absolutely happening, and it's happening for you now, and it's happening for you with unlimited support? So the belief scale is going to cover the 5 different stages. You can actually take a look at it. You can see where you're at on the scale, and it will show you, where you're ready to create a shift. And these shifts are the shifts in our beliefs, which create a shift in our identity, which ultimately brings us to what we want. And this is such powerful work. You are going to feel like it's magic. And it's the work that I love so much. Anything that I have, since starting this business, this has been such a core of any piece of success that we have created. The belief that we can do it always comes first, especially when we don't know how. If you feel like you've been waiting to figure out how, or just in general waiting and it's not coming through, then it may just be time for you to upgrade how you're thinking and how you're feeling about it. But I think this is where sometimes people will say manifestation doesn't work, or it's just about thinking positively. It's about so much more than thinking positively. That's only a piece of it. And I'm going to give you really tangible tools inside the Belief Portal. So this is a 5-day experience with Kayla and I. It's only $22. You can jump in and you're going to receive a message. It's going to come via text message. So you're going to receive a message from us every single day that's going to give you the teaching for that day. You're also going to understand what the belief scale is. There'll be a little bit of homework each day that you'll implement in real time. Here's the thing. In this 5 days, you're going to see and feel a shift. We're going to teach you how to actually have an identity shift to be the person who already has whatever it is that you are calling in your life right now. So I'm really excited to bring this forward for you guys. I'll link below. All you have to do is click the link. You can jump in and join us for just $22, which is such a steal. And you're going to get to go so deep, but you can do this in real time. You can do this while you can listen in while you're driving the kids to school. You can listen while you're getting ready in the morning. And then you'll implement what you learned that day right within your day so that you can see and feel results right off the bat. So I hope you guys love it. Let me know what you think. We designed this for you based on conversations we've been having in our community, based on people wanting these really tangible tools they can implement in real time so that you're manifesting the life that you truly want to have in all areas. Because here's the thing, you guys, there are no insignificant moments in your life or in your day. Every moment matters and every moment counts. So whether it's a moment where you're being super intentional and lit up and joyful and spending time with someone that you love, or if it's a moment where you're just kind of checking out and you're scrolling, all the moments matter. None of them are insignificant. And the more that we become aware and the more that we become intentional and the more that we choose the beliefs that we're creating, the more magic our life becomes. And it truly is. Our life is meant to be so, so magical. So if life isn't feeling that way for you now, take a deep breath and just know you can shift that in an instant. Okay, you guys, thanks for being here today. Jump into the Belief Portal. And as always, if this was impactful for you, if you know someone who needs to hear this message, please do share, comment, let us know what you think. We'll see you next time on the Rise Leadership Circle podcast.